Hey guys, what's up? If you're new around here, my name is Hannah Martin, and today I'm going to give you my top tips on how to improve your Instagram game as a dancer. Before we start this video, if you guys want to check out my Instagram, the username is exactly the same as my YouTube, HannahMartinRG, and I have over 25,000 followers on that account. I want to share a little bit of what I've learned. I'm not saying I'm an Instagram master, because really Instagram keeps changing, social media keeps changing. These tips will probably work not just if you're a dancer. A couple of the tips are more focused around kind of technique, just some things to think about when you post a photo or a video. Having started Instagram before I competed at the Commonwealth Games in 2018, I've had 2 or 3 years of experience now, and over that time I've really seen Instagram change. There's never one formula that's going to work forever. I think it's a really great tool to get yourself out there, to get seen by prospective directors, companies, brands. There's loads of ways you can grow a business and earn money through Instagram, but it's also a great way to get social media exposure. My first tip, and it's something that I think about a lot when I post any video or photo, I'm really picky because I always want to make sure I'm showing my best technique. Whenever I post a photo, I usually ask someone else's advice, someone who's got some knowledge of ballet technique, or I also sometimes show a photo to my dad or my brothers to make sure it's an appropriate photo to someone who might not be a dancer. I know that sounds really weird, but it's something to think about when you're on Instagram. I always think before I post a photo, would I be happy for a director of a company to see this image? And if the answer is no, generally I won't post it. And I know that can be very frustrating, especially for some of the photographers I work with. I'm sorry, but it's important to be putting your best foot forward when you're posting on Instagram. People will want to follow you because they see that you put, time and effort into creating good technique, but it's also going to be good for you if it comes into the view of someone who potentially has a job for you in the future. So that's just something to think about whenever you post a photo. Does this show my technique at its best? My second tip, if you're wanting to grow on Instagram, is tag the brands. If you're wearing a leotard from Basilica Dancewear or Simply Stella or Frida Silk, you never know whether these brands are going to repost your content, especially to their stories. So make sure whenever you're wearing a leotard or some dancewear that is branded, tag them. You don't know, it could get you wider reach. So that is always a tip and trick that I try and do, is tag the brands in whatever I'm wearing, because it gives me a wider reach and it could get me new followers who haven't seen my content before if these dancewear brands post me to their stories. Also, you might be able to get on an ambassador program with some of these leotard and dancewear brands, or a photographer ambassadorship, which is where I started, and that's how I began working with leotard brands, and that's also a great way to get great photos. See what ambassadorships are going around, and who knows, maybe that could be a route you want to take. My third tip is support other dancers. The dance community on Instagram is so wonderful, they're so supportive, and if you support others, they're going to support you too. Comment on their photos, like their photos, share their content, and most likely that will be reciprocated. Invest in your time in encouraging others, and people invest time in encouraging you too. And not only is that just a wonderful way to become part of the Instagram dance community, it's also a great way to get engagement on your posts, because you'll get more comments. Instagram will see that people are liking your content, that they're engaging with your content, and that will push it out to more people, potentially getting on the explore page. So really interact with your followers. If people comment on your photos, I try my best to respond to most of my comments. I don't always get through them all, but once you start engaging with your audience, they're more likely to continue engaging with you, which is always a big plus with the Instagram algorithm. The more engagement you get, the more Instagram sees that people like that post, and it will show more people that post because obviously people like it. So engaging with the dance community on Instagram is not only a great way to improve your engagement, but it's also just really rewarding. Another tip that I really recommend right in this moment is Reels. Because Reels is quite a new Instagram feature, Instagram are pushing these more than regular posts. So if you post a Reel, it's probably more likely to get seen by someone who's never seen your content before, and potentially you could get a new follow. So I do recommend trying to create some Reels. Let your creativity run wild with it. I'm actually considering making a video on how to make a dance Instagram Reel. If that's something you'd like to see, comment down below, let me know. Another tip that I learned when I first started focusing a little bit more on my Instagram profile is using hashtags. So these hashtags are basically like search terms. So if someone was to search in Instagram, like they would search in Google, dance photography, if I put in my caption of my Instagram post, hashtag dance photography, my photo might show up when someone searched dance photography in Instagram. And that again can widen your reach. People follow these hashtags and somehow maybe they might come across your content. One post I posted last year got a majority of its reach from the hashtags that I use. It doesn't work all the time. Again, Instagram algorithm is so unpredictable, but it encourages Instagram to share your content with more people. Whether it works or not, it's kind of a 50-50 chance, but I would recommend doing it because it gives you slightly more better chance on reaching a new audience and gaining new followers. And lastly, I kind of want to break the myth that you have to have professional photos to have a nice Instagram profile. I know on my Instagram that I have professional photos now, but when I started I didn't. I just took photos on my phone. And honestly, still now, I sometimes quite like that training content, that sometimes my training content and videos and photos from me just working in the studio, just filming it on my phone, can go better than the content that's actually professionally taken. So don't be afraid if you don't have professional photos. That doesn't mean you can't have an awesome Instagram profile that people are gonna love. So don't hesitate from going for it and presenting your best self on social media just because you don't have a professional camera or a professional photographer to take photos for you, because you can still make great content even without a professional photographer. I mean, getting a photo shoot would always be a great option, and I have a bunch of photographers that I've worked with that I would highly recommend, and any of these photographers would really give you some great content, but it's not essential to growing a great Instagram profile and kind of portfolio for yourself. You can still create great pictures even just through your phone, because phones are so advanced these days. My final tip is just to be yourself. Don't try and create a facade. Try not plan my posts too much, because then I feel like it's not coming from an honest place. I always try and post how I feel in that moment. With my captions, I always post a bit about how training went that week or how I was feeling. Don't feel all this pressure to keep posting. I post every other day, once or twice a week. That's enough for me. Again, everyone's got to find their own rhythm with it. I literally have so many tips that I could give you, but this video would be way too long. So if you guys want a part 2 to this video to give you some more tips and tricks on how to build your social media profile, please comment down below, let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. And make sure to give this a like, press the subscribe button, because I'd love for you to join our motivating community here on HannahMartinRG. And also make sure to give me a follow on Instagram, because you can see kind of the content that I love to put out there and create. I hope this video was helpful for you, and I'll see you very soon in my next one. Remember, dream big and make it happen.